After a handful of spawn, loot, and die tragically cycles in DayZ, you might start to be getting the hang of things. But you still might need some help advancing after you survive your initial spawn. You've got some basic gear, you're filled up on food and water, and you think you're ready to go, but to where? Well, before we get into any of the informational bits, I advise you to come up with a plan as soon as you spawn in. Based on where you're starting off, come up with a long-term plan. If you start in Chernow and your goal is to get to Tissy, find a path that will get you there. If you don't have a final destination, but instead want to get into some PvP, find a looting route that includes weapon and ammo spawns so you can find what you need to get to Starry, VMC, or Northwest Airfield for some epic gunfights. But no matter what your plan might be, you're probably going to need some sort of gun to hunt or to defend yourself with. So, you're going to want to seek out these locations to try and find a higher tier weapon to blow through the enemy. Or like a harmless deer or something, I don't know. Police stations. Here you can find 9mm variant weapons and ammo such as the M-Lock pistol, SG-5K submachine gun, and the CR-75 pistol. These locations can also spawn the pump-action shotgun, the CR-61 Scorpion, IJ-70, which are both 380 ACP weapons, and even the medium-range sniper rifle, the Pioneer, which takes 5.56. On top of the guns spawn themselves, you can also find various attachments and magazines for them as well. General stores and hunting cabins. These are my personal favorite places to loot. They will spawn various types of hunting gear and rifles. In these locations, I've often found Mosins, Tundras, carbine rifles, and blaze rifles, as well as the corresponding scopes, ammo, and attachments. Aside from helicopter crash sites, this is the very best place to find powerful sniper rifles that will be strong enough to carry you through your entire life. Granted, you don't miss your shots and don't get one-tapped all the time like I do. Military compounds. This is a much more varying location, as these types of military compounds are scattered all over the map and yield different amounts and types of tier 2 and 3 gear. However, they usually spawn with some tents, sniper nests, or maybe even some barracks that you can loot for some pretty decent weaponry. Here, you're able to find SG-5K and USG-45 SMGs, AK rifle variants like the AK-101, AKM, KA-74, the KAS, the Colt 1911 pistol, the Viga auto shotgun, SKS semi-rifles, and M16s. This is a long list of weapons, so I'll provide some images with ammo types to help you visualize everything. Ballistic vests. While you're out looting for a weapon, you might as well keep your eye out for a ballistic vest to help protect you from gunfire. Having a decent vest on can make the difference between life and death in DayZ, so you want to make sure you're protecting the most vulnerable, easy to hit location on your body. Your torso. In police stations, you can find both press vest and stab vests. Although very similar in health damage reduction, minus 50%, and shock damage, minus 25%, the press vest offers a large amount of inventory slots versus the stab vest, which offers 0 aside from grenade slots, and also has a higher HP value, 170 for the press vest and 110 for the stab vest. Honestly, both are great protection and are relatively light enough to stay agile in PvP. But now, if you want to become more of a DayZ human tank, I recommend looting military bases for a plate carrier. These bad boys reduce health damage by 70% and shock damage by 40%, making bullets almost unimpactful with the first shot that they land, giving you a great chance to escape or make a play and react. The plate carriers also have a staggering 300 HP value, which nearly doubles the press vest. And at the same time, the plate carrier vest has attachment slots for pouches and a pistol holster. However, user beware. Plate carrier weighs 12 kilograms on its own, so it'll really weigh you down and plummet your stamina bar. So keep that in mind when you're wearing one and start to get into a PvP fight. Okay, so at this point, you might have looted and found a ton of stuff, and probably more than you can carry. In this case, some people will tend to make small stashes in order to preserve some food or maybe some car supplies or spare guns for a future life. Here's what you can do to easily make a stash. Option 1. Tents. This is the old school method of stash making. You find a tent or a barrel and you hide it somewhere in the woods where nobody's going to look and probably won't find it. Barrels can hold up to 150 slots. It's a 10x15, while medium civilian tents can hold up to 200 slots in a 10x20. These are smaller, easier to hide storage containers that can get the job done. However, you have other options as well in the car tent, 500 slots and a 10x50, a canopy tent, 150 slots, sea chest, 100 slots and a 10 by 10, and the large military tent, 400 slots, 10 by 40. Most tents and containers have around a 45-day lifespan when going untouched, according to the DayZ wiki, but I'm not sure if that number has changed in a recent update or not. Also, keep in mind that you can attach a camo net found in military areas to most tents in order to help them blend in and stay hidden a bit more. Option 2. Craftables. If you have no luck finding a tent or a barrel, you can always craft your very own. First, you'll need to make a shelter kit, which requires 4 sticks and a rope. Combine them together, place the kit, and you now have an area to build an improvised shelter. However, you will need additional material based on the type of shelter that you want to build. No matter what, you'll need 4 long sticks for the base of the shelter. Then, you'll need either an additional 8 pieces of tan leather, which you can make by combining animal skin and fertilizer, 4 pieces of tarp, or 50 short sticks to put up one of the 3 types of shelters that you can make. Based on the type that you build, you'll get varying storage capacity. Stick shelters hold 100 slots, 10 by 10. Leather shelters hold 84 slots, 6 by 14. And tarp shelters hold 100 slots in a 10 by 10. Lastly, if you need to make a quick, easy stash without all the building, I suggest finding a dry bag or making a small wooden crate by combining planks and nails, and both of these items are able to be buried with a shovel. Stash what you need inside, find a secluded, hidden location, and bury your goods away. Now, in the beginner's guide, I went over how to fish. It's easy, requires no actual skill, and it's really a great food source. But now that you have, hopefully anyway, had some practice aiming and shooting a gun in DayZ, I want to introduce you to hunting. First thing you'll want is, obviously, a rifle of some sort that can kill an animal in one shot. A Mosin, Tundra, Blaze, CR rifle, etc. These are probably the best guns for the job. They're accurate, shoot well at range, and will absolutely kill an animal. But not a bear. Bears are not one shot, trust me. Been there, done that. Shotguns are also good options, but you have to sneak a little closer, and with that you risk that your prey sees or hears you and takes off. Also make sure to have a blade of some kind to skin the animal. So once you have a hunting weapon and a knife, you can begin your hunt. While running around the map, you often can hear animal noises. They're all unique, and eventually you will be able to tell them apart. You can follow these sounds to find the animal. Once they sound relatively close, I advise you to crouch walk slowly around and look for where they might be hidden. Sprinting around when the animals are nearby will cause them to be alerted and run away from you. Remain crouched and make your way to the animal. Obviously, you won't be able to get right up behind your prey, so find a safe distance that you feel you can shoot and wait for the moment to strike. Now, you're in shooting position and ready to shoot. Make sure you aim for the head. While a body shot might kill the animal, it will likely damage the leather and result in a smaller meat and fat yield when you skin it. Shooting the animal in the head gives you a bigger chance to score more food. Now that you've skinned the animal by holding your knife, standing over the animal and holding left mouse, and probably right back triggers on the console, you should pack up your food and swiftly move locations. Even a single gunshot will attract PvP seekers. Now find a nice cozy spot to make either an outdoor campfire or find a house with a fireplace to cook your food. Cooking over an outdoor fire with a long stick, outlined in the beginner guide, will bake your food. Baking yields the most caloric value, so I advise you to bake rather than smoke or boil. If using an indoor fireplace, I suggest putting your steaks as fat on the oven grill to bake. You can also put extras in the smoker section of the fireplace to heat up while the others are baking. This will get them to 100 Celsius, and when the first 2 are done baking, you can quickly swap them down to the oven grill to start baking. And since they're already at the desired temperature, they will bake much faster. I usually just rotate the meats this way and they cook as efficiently as possible. Cooking can also be done indoors with a cooking pot or a frying pan, but in order to bake with these items you must have a piece of fat in the container. A piece of fat on a frying pan is the only way you can cook with that. But with a cooking pot you can boil food by adding water, but again, boiled food is much worse in caloric value as opposed to baking it. Now, with all this information, I think that's where we can begin to wrap things up. Just as last time though, I'll drop a list of some more advanced crafting items for you if you please. But first... Okay, back to the crafting stuff. Here you go. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this guide useful or you learned something new, make sure to drop a like and a sub to help us grow and support me in making this sort of content. I now have my own private server to record guides on, so more will certainly be on the way now. Make sure to check out the others I've already made in the meantime. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye. Like and subscribe. I love you.